What's up, everybody? This is D, and I kind of just wanted to start making some videos here, kind of just, going over some of the stocks that I'm watching and some of the things that I'm keeping my eye on for this week. Today is Tuesday, March 2nd, and tomorrow's trading session will be Wednesday the 3rd. So basically, it's been a crazy last 2 weeks, I guess you could say. I have the cues pulled up here. As you can see, 216 here. On 216, we were coming off, all-time highs here at 338.19. And then obviously last week we had that, sort of sell off. The bond yield started to increase, and then we came down here. I believe the first day we had 2% drop here on the Qs, and we kind of looked like we wanted to test this 50 SMA here at 318, but we closed a little bit above it. And then obviously the next day following after that, bond yields just spiked up. I believe they got up all the way to 1.61 that day, and the market got scared. That's kind of like what happens. Stock market has been good for a long time, especially during a pandemic and coming out of 2020. A lot of these, high tech stocks in the Qs, sort of really rallied the last 8-9 months, really. And those are the ones that got hit the worst. And that day, I believe, we dropped 3% on the Qs, and we actually closed below the 50-day moving average here. And then we had a really nice rally the day after that. But see, what's going on here now is we're kind of stuck in this channel here, okay? So a couple of key levels to look at here for the Qs if we want to get into a really bullish market again is going to be a close over 324 here. For the bulls, we need to close over 324. As you can see, we've tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days now here at a 6. The last 6 days, we've tested this 324 level 5 times. Every time we come into it, we sort of get resistance, and then we push back down. We come back into this 324 area, and then we kind of push back down. So this is a channel that we've been in here. Yesterday we had a really good recovery day, and the bulls and the Qs, they really rallied, which was really good. And today we could be looking at some consolidation. We could also be looking at the next leg down here. But I think that the channels that we really need to be looking into going forward is going to be this level here. If tomorrow, Wednesday, we can open up and reclaim this 318 that we closed at today and really make a push into 323, 324, we're going to be looking pretty strong. Now, if we come down here to the 5-day moving average and we close below 318, well, it's right here in front of your face. This 311 is almost bound to happen here. So, and if we really start closing below, if we make a hard close below 311, 312, then it's pretty much safe to say that we will be coming down and testing this 305 level here. And this is going to be really huge. Right now, I wouldn't say that there's anything too much to be concerned about. And it is the market's doing what the market's doing. The economy is getting ready to reopen. A lot of money is getting shifted from the tech stocks into more value plays and reopening plays and such forth. And that's just the way that the market's going to be here. But the major levels that we need to look at for the bulls is going to be reclaiming 324, and for the bears is going to be a break below and a close below 311, 312. If we do close below 311, 312, the next move down I would be willing to bet on, just based off making an educated guess here and looking at the chart, would be coming down to the 305 level. Now, if something happens and, with the way things have been going, there's no telling what can happen. But the way I see it is that if we do get a close below 310, 311, and the bears really make a strong move down and really start to move the sticks down past 305, 306, then we've got bigger problems. And then we're looking at probably a 10% correction into 283. But I wouldn't be worried about that right now. Right now, we're holding the 50 and the 5-day moving average here. And we got to just see what things are set up for tomorrow's session. But There's a lot of good plays out there. I mean, if anybody caught Rocket, congratulations on that. Rocket had this insane monster move here, and I actually got in and took a contract at the 35 break. I was looking at it about $33, so let's see where that's at. I was looking at the $33 break here. I took a contract here and I wrote it up into, I mean, it got halted twice, so I got stuck in that halt. And when we came out of the halt, it made another strong push up. I believe I seen 42s, and then you started to see this red candle here come back down and test the 5 SMA here. And by the time I put in my sell order, I think it closed me out at around 39.50 or something, and I made $500 on the trade. But this is a stock that I'm looking at for tomorrow, RKT. Insane move. If we can open up tomorrow on Rocket and we can sort of reclaim this 41, 42 level area here with some strength and some momentum, I believe that we can see another push up into this short squeeze. But that would be one major key level that I'm going to be watching myself. Personally, what I think is going to happen here is I think that we're going to open up maybe a red to green move. I think we'll probably back trace this $36, $35 price point here. There seems to be some good support right around that level. If it does get pushed down farther, I believe we see 32s, 33s, and basically that's what I'm going to be looking at. But I'm definitely going to be looking to pick up some shares if we can touch 36, 35 area and get a bounce back up. Or, I mean, the market could just open up super hot and we can come in here at the $40, $41 level and then make a push to 45 and 50. You really have to keep an eye at the options volume and the movement that's coming in there. I started seeing $35 calls, $40 calls, weeklies, $3.19. I even see a guy come in for $45 calls for $3.19. And when you see the options start to just come back to back to back to back to back, and you're watching the activity and the volume on this, it's again goes back to saying that the options market is really pushing some of these stocks forward here. So that's definitely one that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. Another stock that I'm also in now and holding is FUBO. FUBO has been getting beat up for the last couple of weeks, coming off all-time highs here of $62, and then kind of has just sold off. That was in the middle to late December and has kind of been trying to backtrace up. We touched $50 levels here in January, and then it's kind of been slowly selling off. The good thing with FUBO is it has a ton of institutional buyers that hold this stock here. Earnings report came out today, and in my opinion, I thought that the earnings were pretty good on this growth stock. If you're looking to trade FUBO on a day trade or a swing trade, something short term, and you're looking for quick profits, you're gonna have to play some levels on FUBO. Okay, so definitely you're gonna have some support here at around the $37 area, and you're really gonna need to get a break over 41. I would call it $42. You're gonna need to really see a break and a close above $42 to get this next extended leg up, probably into 45 territory again. But I mean, if this thing starts to break down 37, we can go back to the daily chart here. If this thing can really start to break down 37, then 33 was also a good holding point for it right in here in this area. $33.50 was also a good support level here. Look for a bounce back up and play it back into this $37 channel here. I don't really see this thing selling all the way off here into the 100-day moving average at $29, but you never know. In order for this thing to really start ripping, I think FUBO is going to need to close over the 20-day SMA, and it's going to really need to close over $44. That's just my opinion. I will be extremely bullish if FUBO can close over $44 to make that next leg up and try to retest $50. But if you're a long-term investor, I am going to keep some of this in my portfolio just long-term. I do see the growth being really good, and I see as a long-term play. Don't check it every day because FUBO is kind of a stock that can get kind of beaten up on a day-to-day basis. There is a high short volume in FUBO, and it kind of can get beaten up on a day-to-day basis. But when this thing really does start to confirm some of these channels and some of these levels here, you're going to really see an aggressive move to the upside. So for tomorrow, I'm really looking for FUBO to get back into the $40 area. Reclaim 41.89 is the level that I'm looking at here to get long in FUBO again. After hours, it kind of sold off after earnings. The EPS was a little bit bad. I guess some people didn't really like that, and they kind of sold it off. I think it closed at $38, high 38s. But over 41, I am really, really bullish on FUBO. And if not, I will kind of see how this thing plays out, see if it wants to backtrace and test this 50-day EMA at around $38, $37. If it does backtrace and sort of retest this $37 area here, I might look to reload here for the next leg up into 41 and beyond. Another stock that I am on watch is DraftKings. DraftKings had really good earnings, and I think going forward, they're going to be probably a $75, $80 stock before we know it. Okay, so even with the SPY's late sell-off in the day here, DraftKings pretty much held its own here, and it didn't sell off too much here. What I am looking for is a break over 70.38 of today's highs. If we can really break over 70.38, let's call it 70.50. If we can break that level and sort of hold and show some strength, I really think that this thing can move up another 5 to 10 points before backtracing and sort of finding its next area level of support. It all depends on how the markets are. The futures right now are green. But, with the way things have been going, anything can change by the time market opens happens. Right now, we're looking at about 63.50, 63.56 for an area of support on the 10-day and 5-day SMA. If this thing does decide to find some support before a bounce, that could be a good area of entry between the $63 and $64 area. Again, this stock is not really something you want to be in and out of on a day-to-day basis. But if you can get it at one of these levels, either a break over 70 with some strong momentum or a test of support at around 63, 64, and sort of ride that wave the next 2-3 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, I think you're really going to see a lot of good potential in DraftKings. It's one of the stocks that I'm going to be watching very, very heavily. One stock that I am watching to the downside is Lemonade. Lemonade didn't have as good as earnings as you would expect. And I mean, this stock, if you look back here to November, December, I mean, this stock was sitting at $67, $75, $80 stock and sort of just exploded in December into January to an all-time high of $188. For me, long-term, is Lemonade going to be a good play? Absolutely. I have a lot of faith in this company. I think that long-term, it's going to be a very good play with some insane gains in value. So if you're looking to hold something long-term, I mean, I do look to add long-term stocks to my portfolio. Maybe at this level here, could be just a scoop and stash it aside for later on down the road. But as of right now, with the sell-off and the bad week that we had from the bond yields and taking a little bit of beating from the earnings, you are seeing here that it's going to look to try to test this 103 area here. So tomorrow, what I'm looking for on Lemonade is sort of, does this thing really start to build below 110, 109? If it is showing some weakness around those areas, I could be looking to get in on the downside and maybe try to scalp something from 108, 107 down to 103, 104. Depending on what it does here when it comes up to the 100-day moving average, do we get a bounce or does it continue to break down this level? If it does break down this level here on the 100-day, well, you can see for yourself. I mean, the downside here is insane. How low does it go? Nobody knows. I mean, nobody knows if this thing's going to touch it and bounce back up and go all the way back up to 130, 135 like it was yesterday and the day before, or does it continue to break down? We don't know, but I mean, what we do know is here is we have levels that we can go by. We can read the chart. We can see what's going on with price action and momentum and the overall market. And we can sort of see here that the way that it's looking, it looks like it's going to continue to break down. I also did see on the live option scanner today that a lot of guys are coming for the $105 puts. They're coming for the 95s, the 90s, 319 dates. So we'll have to see what happens. But definitely if it starts building for me under 110, 109, I could be looking to get into this on the downside for a quick scalp. And then exiting my position around the 102 to 104 area and reevaluating once it starts to either confirm this level of support or show strength on a breakdown to the downside and to re-enter. Those are the three stocks that I am looking at for tomorrow. I'm going to kind of start introducing a little bit more stocks that I'm watching and just some ideas that I have. This video is very, very short, but this is my first video and I'm going to continue to make some content just based on some things that I see in the charts and, sort of what I'm looking at in the market. But hopefully everybody has a good trading session day tomorrow, and I will see you guys tomorrow.